Hello.
Hi, everybody.
What's
Good
up?
morning.
Good.
What's up?
Oh, my Lord. Happy Thursday morning.
Oh my God.
Hey,
The dogs are saying good morning too.
Why are your dogs like, why are they freaking out today? What are you doing?
I literally have no idea, but I'm going to mute myself between chats then so you don't have to listen to them because I don't know what's setting them off other than possibly the construction outside.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah. So happy Thursday morning. You know, that reminds me, as I was walking my dog today, of a kindergarten teacher that I used to know. She was my sister's kindergarten teacher. And back in the 70s, all kindergarten teachers needed to, this is totally nothing to do with birth, okay? But just listen to me.
Well, that's highly unusual for us.
In the old days, you had to know how to play the piano. You couldn't be a kindergarten teacher if you didn't know how to play the piano. Did you know that? It's true. Was a requirement. So Mrs. Patterson, Mrs. Adele Patterson, a lovely, lovely woman, every morning would start off the day with happy Thursday morning, glad to see you're here, while she sat at the piano and the kids sat on the floor. And so it went like that. Happy Thursday morning, here's quite a cheer. We can work and we can play. Good morning on this Thursday. And then she'd look outside. She'd say, a new day, a happy day. Come to school and play day. A gray day, a cloudy day. And Thursday is its name. And Thursday is its name. And Thursday is its name. Its name. And Thursday is its name. It was, and she had like this opera voice. It was hilarious. And I swear to God, that was, I mean, my sister's 44 years old, so you can do the math, how long ago she was in kindergarten. And I also did like co-op in high school in that class. And she was my inspiration for so much of my parenting, my homeschooling, and everything, because she was so loving, but also extremely orderly and strict.
Wow.
She managed to blend those things so well. So there you go.
Like,
she didn't even know it.
Real life polka dot door.
Real life polka dot door, yes. And she, when somebody would say, can I go to the bathroom? She would say, be my guest.
Be my guest.
Be my guest. Oh, Mrs. Patterson, I wonder where she is today. Look up your kindergarten teacher.
It was how long ago? And she was an adult in the 70s? 40 years ago?
She was a grown woman. Like, she was not a new teacher.
So I'm going to go with maybe dead.
Maybe dead. Yeah, I have no idea, but so yeah, maybe she was like 40 when my sister was born. So she'd maybe be in like in her late 80s now, mid 80s, late 80s. So hey, who knows?
Who knows? All right, so before we get into things, let's do this land acknowledgement.
Please.
All right. So the land I am standing on and recording this podcast on and raising my amazing family on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse nations, Inuit and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. I'm getting better at saying the names. I think
you are. See, practice.
It's perfect. And it helps that they have like the way you say it on the thing.
Do they? Oh, I don't have that on mine.
Of Toronto, the phonetic ways of saying it.
Yes, there you go. I know how to say them because I listened to audiobook of what was it called? Anyways, a book by Joseph Boyden, and we did it for our book club. And so that was where I first heard of the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat, and it was all in there. Of course, I know how to say Mississaugas, and I had also heard the Anishinaabe before, but the Haudenosaunee, I would never have guessed that that's how you said it according to the stuff. Yeah, no. But it was because I heard it being spoken in over and over in that book. So yeah, that was a good book, by the way. I just don't remember what it's called. Joseph Joseph Boyden, and I think it won a big award like the Giller or something like that.
That's cool.
So it was a good book. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
So,
So, health priority check-in. How's everybody doing?
Steph,
Real good.
Yes, Steph, tell us how you're doing.
I'll tell you how I'm doing. Well, today's my post-surgery follow-up with my OBGYN. So I go to find out what's happening in my cave of wonders and see what is up for me next.
yeah. So let's call this episode Stephanie's Cave of Wonders. People, that'll hook them in like almost as readily as a bag of dicks, I think. Your Cave of Wonders. And maybe you'll get the go ahead to start, carrying on bad in your house.
That's right. Roger.
If you know what I mean. Yeah. Because
Roger's concerned.
You've been Roger's concerned that he's gonna have to start ponying up saddling up again, or he's concerned that the doctor's gonna say, no, I'm sorry, it will be another 12 weeks and you just have to wait.
No, if he had his way, we would wait a full 3 months, because when we first went down this path, he did his own research, and average recommendation was to wait 8 to 12 weeks for the type of surgery I was having. Right. And so he's like, don't look at
We're on the side of caution.
Yes.
Yeah. What a lovely, lovely husband you have.
I was going to say, like, he did his own research. Was this impacting him in any way? But then I realized it's Roger, and he was more worried about you than anything else. So that makes sense.
That
any other man would be like, oh my God, you can't have surgery. I can't have sex with you for 12 weeks. Fuck off.
Is there a market where they sell Rogers, where they sell men like this? Did you go there?
Need a Tinder for Rogers.
Maybe he needs an online course.
Set up his own online course.
You know what? I think it's more he was born that way. I don't think you can create that. I think it has to come from within.
I think it starts within, but I think it could be wrecked by bad environment. And I think it could be nurtured and really fed well by a good environment. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even though what's funny is he is the black sheep is the wrong word, because his family absolutely loves him, but he's the go his own way of all the three kids. He did plenty of things that his parents were absolutely against. And he did them partially because they were against them, and he wanted to prove he could do it. Like, instead of going to university, he chose to go to college because he's a hands-on learner, and they were against that. And because of that, he chose to put himself through school. And like all of these other things where he's just like, I don't think like that, so I have to do it my way, which is hilarious because he also absolutely adores his parents and goes to them for counsel and sits with them and talks with them. So,
but it's his own person. So that's an excellent balance.
And then, of course, traditional Egyptian family here, and he brings home a single mother.
Yeah.
I know that.
With her 3 kids in tow. Here's my white Canadian girlfriend with her children from another relationship, and I love her and I'm going to marry her. What do you think? But by the way, it doesn't matter what you think, because I'm going to marry her anyway. Oh, I love it.
That's pretty much how it went.
We could also call this episode Ode to Roger.
Ode to Roger.
I posted that we need to have him on just as a doula partner and what that's like.
Yes, and talk about birth from the partner's perspective, and what fears, doubts, uncertainties, and things like that they felt during pregnancy and after. Because now there's a thing that says that male partners experience postpartum depression. Now they were specifically focused on male partners and not any other kind of gendered partners. So there you go. But there's that one little insight into a part of it. So maybe Roger can talk about that stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be quite straightforward about how he, in quotes, he doesn't swear often, but fucking hated it when I started active full-time doulaing. How he, quote, fucking hated it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it didn't help my marriage either, to be quite honest. Well,
it helped mine.
it helped you in yours. Didn't necessarily.
Helped me get out of it. So now I was making my own money, helped me get out of it and got me out of the house and away from him.
I'm guessing John hated it too.
No, John liked it. John actually used to brag to people about what I did, and he loved the extra money.
Oh,
Little
wow.
did he know that I was squirreling away so that I could have eventually, leave his ass and support myself with my kids. So yeah, it was a kind of a different experience for me, but yeah, that's not unusual either. So thank you for sharing your update on your Cave of Wonders, Stephanie. Kimberly, what is happening when you're in your body this week?
Nothing. How are you?
You're liking those HelloFresh meals. Let's chat about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You've
making.
become like this gourmet chef.
Yes, I mean, I think HelloFresh is helping teach me how to cook because I pretty much am the worst cook on the planet. I can cook kid food. I make a mean chicken finger from a box.
I make a mean craft dinner. Let me tell you.
I make a mean craft dinner in a microwave.
You can make craft dinner in a microwave?
Fucking well
Yeah.
can. Yep.
You know that you can get them in the like individual serving things. And
Oh,
put in
no. From a box.
Oh, the
In
regular
microwave.
KD, you can make it in a microwave? Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
there's
know that.
instructions on the box.
Yeah, I see but now they actually have the microwavable ones.
Yes,
That
I've never had those.
But those came out after my kids I still buy sometimes craft dinner, and Noah will have it. My youngest will have it if like there's no food in the house.
Mhm.
But it's not a staple anymore the way it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how about you? How is your health priority?
It's okay. I mean, it's been okay, except for yesterday. There was a slight Krispy Kreme donut situation that happened. And so there was my friend and I were going to go for a walk, and then it started pouring rain. So then we decided to go get coffee and sit in the car and talk. And then she said, "Oh my God, let's drive past Krispy Kreme. And if there is no lineup, let's go in." There was no lineup because it's raining, and some people have half a brain. So we decided to go in, and she bought like a shit ton of donuts. And I did not. I bought a few to share with my family because I'm not the like.
I did not. I bought a few. So that's kind of. She bought donuts. I did not, but I bought a few.
Yes.
So can we?
I did not buy a shit ton. I just bought a few.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna
brought them home. But I'm not like, I had my Krispy Kreme fix when they first opened, and I'm that's enough for me for a while. So I'm not crazy about them. Although I'm a donut lover, they're kind of like too decadent for me after a couple. Then I feel like that's it for a year or so. Yeah, I can't have them all the time. So yeah, so it's been going pretty good. I've been timing my dog walks. Not timing, like counting how many steps do I get when I do during the day when I do Ziggy's like her full round of walks for the day. And I don't get 10,000 steps walking this dog, which I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna be like way over. But I guess I don't take her for that long of a walk because she's still so little. But bitch, I'm gonna start moving your ass. You're gonna see.
Never getting big though. That's the size.
Never gonna get big, but she can walk a little farther than what I take her.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I only get about.
And worst case scenario, you pick her up, and now you're walking with weight.
Yeah, or I leave her at home and go for my extra walk by myself, which would be strange. I don't remember what it feels like to walk with my both arms free, just like nothing, just me walking. So yeah. So there's that.
Cool.
Coolio.
All right. So before we get into our topic, oh, hello, son.
I need in like 5 minutes. Will you be done? Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
Okay. So before we get into our topic, which is a very interesting one today, I'm kind of excited and nervous about it. Our Ripped from the Headline series.
Mhm.
I found this, unfortunately, it's in the States, it's not in Canada. But the title was Black Owned Birth Center Set to Open Amid Pandemic. And this is from San Diego Channel 7 news website. While local businesses are struggling during the pandemic, a pair of San Diego midwives are countering the trend and preparing to open their own birth center in Bankers Hill. There are only a few Black midwives in San Diego County, and Nikki Helms, along with her business partner, Darnie Blount, are hoping to make their services more available to minority communities. Helms and Blounts have been working or have been helping San Diego area mothers for years, and they wanted to expand their reach to communities that may have not had typically had access, including people of color, Black families, and Indigenous families. So that's really cool. They have a GoFundMe where they are looking for donations. So especially if you are in California, if you're listening to us from California, and I know we have many listeners actually in California, they have a GoFundMe, and they've received more than $100,000 in help in securing the lease of a building to get this going. So,
Wow, that's
yeah,
awesome. That's actually good news from the headlines.
yes. Sorry, my cat just fell off the counter there. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, I'm sure that it's very, very different in the States, right? Because
Mm.
they don't have socialized medicine the way we do, and so all of the funding for the birth center will have to come from them
From
somehow.
private, yeah, from them, don't sponsors,
Yeah,
private.
whatever, private donations, etc.,
Yeah,
which blows my mind, because that makes the feat even more impressive.
yeah,
Because for us it's a matter of filling out all the proposals, because we do have an initiative happening right here. Speaking of GoFundMe, we do have an initiative happening right here in Toronto. A Black midwife named Althea Jones is right now at the very beginning stages of making a proposal to the Ministry of Health for funding a Black midwifery practice. And
awesome.
it would be called Ancestral Hands Midwifery, and she is looking right now for all the support that she can get, because this is something that this is how we have to do it. We have to make a proposal to the ministry, and then they would fund the birth center, which is not to say that donations are not
Welcome.
welcome, because one of the things that Althea is also trying to do, along with opening this new practice, is to have a doula program, like at doula services offered as a part of this midwifery practice. So that would be awesome.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you could look her up. Althea Jones, Ancestral Hands Midwifery is the name of the practice that she is looking to open. And yeah, so she's looking for funding for that. And that's our own initiative. It's not a birth center, but it's also sort of a Black focused, Black centered thing that's happening. So that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
absolutely. So if you're in the States, feel free to send money to the one in San Diego. If you're in Canada, you're
Feel free to send it to
looking to donate.
Yeah, my son just took my phone, so I can't really look up exactly what her GoFundMe is, but it might be under Ancestral Hands Midwifery, or it might be under her name, Althea Jones.
We can post it to the Instagram page and stuff like that when you find
Yes.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
Oh, good news. We love good news.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Now,
writing it down. Yeah.
all right. Now, I can't find the original post where I saw this, but there was a post in a couple of Facebook pages, same person. And again, I can't find the post, so I apologize to the person who actually started this discussion, and not being able to credit them for that. But there was a post that basically talked about how, the word doula, which we have all been for 20 years, 15 to 20 years, all three of us, there's a push to no longer use that term because it is there's not everybody believes this, but there's a belief that the original intent of the word is a Greek word meaning female slave. However, there's others that suggest it means servant, female servant. And it was always my understanding that it meant sort of a higher up female that worked with the female head of house, or the female in the home, to help with birth and the children and things like that. That's the terminology explanation that I got when I first became a doula 150 years ago.
Well,
now go.
My first exposure to the word doula happened. I've probably told you guys this already. Told you the story that I was at and sorry, I'm looking for a quote from a friend of mine. And my son borrowed my phone and he switched everything, and now I've got to find it. So the very first time that I heard that word, I was at the birth of my best friend. And she was having her 6th baby. Anyway, she was having a home birth. And the midwife said to me, "You should be a doula." And in the middle of her contractions, now my friend, I forgot to mention this, this is very important. My friend is Greek and she's fluent in Greek and so on. So in between her contractions, she said, no, she can't be a doula. She's not a slave. And so I ignored her. I ignored what she said. And I said to the midwife, what's that? So the midwife afterwards explained to me what a doula was. I was completely intrigued, completely forgot what my friend said, and went off to sign up for my doula training, and the rest is history. A few times throughout the years, my friend has said to me, "You know that word means slave, right?" And then I just said, "Yeah, whatever." And I shrugged it off. And I said, "Actually, doesn't it specifically mean the head servant in a household who caters to the mistress of the household during her childbearing time?" And then she goes, "Yeah, but it means slave." And so her sister and I are also very good friends. So I called her sister yesterday morning to clear this up. And I said, "Tammy, tell me, what is the literal translation of the word?" And she said, "The word is doula." That's how you pronounce it in Greek. And she says it, doula. You kind of say it with like the doula.
Doula. Okay.
Doula. Yeah. So she says that even the word is used in different ways. And she said it does literally mean slave, because even during baptism in the Greek Orthodox Church, when you're being baptized, part of the ceremony and the words that the priest says something, and the word doula is in there, and it means that they're dedicating this child to be a servant/slave of God, right? And so literally it does mean that, but in different regions, people will use it to use it literally as the word slave, or use it for specifically that purpose of the head female servant in a household, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So that is what both Angela and Tammy, my friends who speak fluent Greek, this is what they have said. And I mean, Angela's like, "I don't think you should use the word." And Tammy's like, "Whatever. I mean, yeah." It doesn't matter to her, but people feel strongly in different ways. Yeah.
What about you, Steph? What are
what's been your finding?
So again, many moons ago when this first came up, it was a Greek friend of mine who had said, just be careful using it. Some people won't like it. And I was like, okay, I just kind of let it slide. But it had turned out that it was because, again, regionally, it can be used almost like the status given to doula in one region can mean literally like you're down the pool, and at others it's literally just someone who serves in the house, someone who makes sure everything is running smoothly. So the weight of it, but either way, it is somebody who is not on par with the people of the house. and that they are there to serve. And originally it was an indentured servitude. So if we go like back, regardless, is it was a state where you didn't necessarily want to be in that, but that was your lot in life.
Yes, actually, Tammy did mention that too, that whole hierarchy, that there is a connotation that you are of a lower class than the people who you are serving. It is not like us today. Well, me anyways, when I'm doing my doula work, I don't consider myself beneath or below anybody. I don't care who they are. Could be the friggin', queen herself. I don't consider myself lower than that person because I'm serving them. But there is a connotation, Tammy said, with the usage of that word there, that hierarchy thing, that you are a lower, and that people sometimes do use it in a derogatory kind of way. And she goes, but it's one of those words that you can, like any word, depending on how you say it. Like she gave me an example. She said, people can say, oh my God, Greek people. Or you can say, oh my God, Greek people. They're the exact same words, but there's a completely different feeling behind the word depending on how you use it. So that was my research.
That was kind of my sort of thought process in all of this, in that, yes, I know that that's what the word originally meant when the word, many centuries ago, a millennia ago, probably was created. That's what it meant. However, over the span of time, and since the 60s, since Klaus and Kennel and Penny Simpkin sort of came on the scene, they took that word and they made it something different, and they made it something amazing, and they made it something that, for me, this is how I identify. When people ask me what I do, I say I'm a doula. And I've always felt that even though, it is what I do, it's also kind of who I am. Like, I'm the person that wants to help and educate and support and, make people feel better about things. And to me, that is the doula-ness in me. That isn't the slave in me. That isn't the servant in me. That is how I now identify with that particular string of 5 letters. You know what I mean? Like, plus I made it my license plate. You can't fucking change it now. What the hell?
Yes. There you go. We are very entrenched with that word. So much of this profession revolves around that word. And I have mixed feelings about it. So I've thought about it for years. I've thought about it. I'm not going to stop using that word to describe myself. But I understand when other people choose not to use it or choose not to describe themselves in that way.
Absolutely.
Because Klaus Kennel and Penny Simpkin and those guys did not stop and think about the feelings that it might give people who have a history of slavery in their communal history, and how that might be a thing for them. I'm sure that they didn't sit down and consider that when they decided to use that word to describe this profession.
All those old white people? No, I'm sure they didn't.
So I wanted to read something from a friend of mine who you really ought to follow on Instagram because they're awesome. Their Instagram handle is Queer Birth Worker, and my friend's name is Kinya, and they wrote this thing. This was, how long ago was this that they wrote it? This was last year, almost exactly a year ago, October 2015.
Oh, I thought it was recent.
Very recent, just it was a year ago that they wrote it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Oh, this discussion is that person who brought it up in the Facebook group brought it up. That was the first time they brought it up, maybe in that conversation, but this is a conversation that has been going on amongst other people for a while. So when King Yao posted this, I said, oh yes, I know this conversation. So anyways, just bear with me. I'm just going to read what they wrote. When I first looked up the term doula, I saw that it meant, quote, a woman, typically without formal obstetric training, who is employed to provide guidance and support to a pregnant woman during labor, according to Oxford Dictionary. I already found this definition problematic because it genders the person who does this work. I further read elsewhere that it means Greek word meaning woman's servant, according to AmericanPregnancy.org. Servant. Last week, during my first maternal support practitioner class at Babomia, this came up as well, that they were moving away from the usage of doula because it actually means slave. Hence why the course uses doula in parentheses rather as its title. A further conversation, so then King Ya put in parentheses, a further conversation on the inclusivity of the word maternal, which is also gendered, needs to be explored. I then reached out to a couple of Greek friends of mine who confirmed that doula does indeed means slave, simply. Hello. So I don't think I need to say anything further. You know that this Black queer body of mine cannot be addressing my Black queer self as a slave for all the many reasons, nor do I want to. I am always learning and expanding ways in which I can, first of all, honor myself, and secondly, my community, who I'm committed to supporting with dignity. I accept that I won't always get it right, but every day I wake up and try to do right. I listen and I adjust as necessary. What are you doing to ensure that your practice is safe and inclusive? So King Ya's big mission is that safety and inclusivity, particularly for Black, queer, trans, non-gender conforming people, and that is their that if you look at their Facebook account, their Instagram account, that is a lot of the content focuses, or almost all of the content focuses around that. So it makes total sense that they would bring up this conversation. So that's one person whose opinion I absolutely deeply love and respect. That is their perspective, and it makes total sense to me. It really, really does.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really does. So there you go. That's one reason why somebody might not want to use the word doula to describe themselves. And as a member of the Ontario Black Doula Society, we have touched on this. We didn't touch on it enough that we discussed that we're going to put the word doula right in our name. We didn't touch on, but we did speak about it. And I think that the consensus was, if I remember correctly, the notion that the word over the millennia has evolved, like the word gay, as an example, now has a different meaning. It still has the same meaning, happy, cheerful, whatever, but now it has another meaning that means something else and is used in a completely different way and has different connotations than it used to. So so there's that. So there we can apply that thinking also to the word doula if you want to. I think this one is up for grabs. Also, there's the whole concept of servitude, and serving. So not slavery, that's a different thing, but service and serving people is a different thing. That's not a bad or a negative thing, unless we put badness and negativity on it. I mean, and I don't have a problem with that.
And particularly when we're talking about birth doulas and and postpartum doulas, that's what we're doing. We're serving the needs of the birthing parent and the postpartum parent in what they need to have a better experience. And I don't see that as a negative. And I've certainly been treated like a slave, or treated like a lowly servant, and maybe not had the best experiences with some families, and felt like I've been, completely used up and not appreciated in what I've done. But I also think, fuck you, and then I move on. It's kind of who I am, though. So I wanted to say, the person who brought this up again in sort of the doula Facebook pages, their name is,
we found it.
Esky Adams. There's some
ESKIE.
E accent grave, SKE accent not circumflex, accent aigu on the other side. There's a few accents here in the name, so I'm hoping it's SK Adams, ESKE Adams, and I found it. They posted it in several groups, but the one I found it in was in Doula Talk. And I'm pretty sure it was in a couple of other ones as well.
Doula Talk. I'm not in that one.
No, and I think they posted a sort of a blog post about it too, but it's not in this particular one. They posted it in a different group. So.
Oh, I'd be interested to read that. Maybe my sentiments will change.
Well, no, I mean, they were along the same, I believe their thought process was along the same lines as King Ya as well, in how they felt about the wording.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Maybe my feeling, I will start to feel stronger and start to not use that word. I actually deliberately did not use the word doula in my birthing business, not because I don't like the origins or the connotation of the word, but because I'm more than that.
Yes.
I think my childbirth education services is not doula work, and I wanted my birth business to sort of cover.
So here's this is the blog. I'm guessing it's a blog post on medium.com by SK.
Medium. Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Why I don't use the word doula.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to write that
down. Anybody wants to read that? Apparently it's a 17-minute read.
Wow. So that's a lot.
Wow.
It's a small pamphlet. Actually, it's a lot of stuff.
Right. Got it. Perfect. I know what I'll be doing later for 17 minutes. Okay.
So Steph, what are your thoughts? What are your?
I don't know. It's almost like I don't get to say I value my work, and like you guys said, there've been those who have tried to, I guess the phrase is put me in my place. Like there's been an assumption in some spaces where I'm the employee. It's kind of made sure that someone feels like I'm that way. And I mean, it's just, and I don't know if that is related directly to doula or because of the fact I offer a service, or because I offer a service that is primarily directed towards the woman in their house. And so it's not seen as, or the fact that I am a woman, it's not seen as a value. I don't know that is related to the word doula so much as it's related to how somebody sees me as a woman and the value a woman brings.
And the work that you're doing.
Traditional woman's work.
Yeah.
Traditional woman's work. So it's valuable enough that you hired me and put me in place, but not valuable enough that I should have opinions.
Right.
I should close my mouth and do the work.
Yes.
You know, so I don't think that is related to doula specifically, but I think the definition of doula comes from the fact that that's where the value lay with women in general at the time. And I do see also the point that Kenya brought up about it being a gendered term. Has that evolved? It has, literally. There have been men.
There are
and non-binary individuals who have taken the training and used it.
I trained a guy once.
Yes, I've heard of male identified doulas. I wouldn't say that the term itself has evolved, because that one person that I read about in Doula International or whatever, this good looking guy out east.
Oh, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's so cute. But that's like a super, super exception. It is not as if man identified people are coming to this profession in droves. I don't believe that will ever happen. So one or two men who go get through the midwifery program, I think there was one, and then this guy out east who was a doula, or is a doula, I don't know. I don't think that's enough to say, oh, has it evolved? Yes, no, because I think it, culturally speaking, when we ask people about doulas, they're immediately going to think of
Women.
female identified people, women. Yes, they're not going to think of anybody else. It has we have a long way to go before that term becomes neutralized.
I
So
guess the same goes for nurse as well. Like, I know male nurses or those who identify as male. But still, when we say nurse, everyone usually says she. It's kind of like when you say doctor, a lot of people will automatically say, well, what's his name? Her name is motherfucker. Like it's
an unusual name.
You know, I often wonder. I often wonder in L&D. Okay, all the nurses are female, or appear female, and I often wonder. So as if that's a deliberate, and I've been in cardiac care, intensive care before in my life, and the nurses there were both male and female.
I had a male nurse once with a client in L&D. He may have actually been in St. Mike's, if I remember it correctly. And I know this is terrible, and I'm gonna let these words fall out of my mouth anyways, but I was uncomfortable. I wasn't happy with it. Like, I didn't, and I'm not sure my client felt that comfortable with it either. I mean, we didn't ask for a change or anything, but it felt weird.
Which is weird because half the OBs are male.
Yeah.
And they're putting their fingers in your vagina just like the male nurse is only putting your IV in and putting the straps on your belly. But there you go. We are very entrenched in the gender roles in our healthcare.
Yeah.
So it's the same, like a person who would be a client, would they feel comfortable with a male appearing doula? And they'd be like, no, I don't want a male doula. But your doctor, your OB is a man, and you were fine lying down on the examining table with your legs in the stirrups for your OB to examine you, but you don't want a male doula making you soup.
Yeah. I know, right?
It really speaks to how entrenched we are in gender roles.
So I have a question. Doulas are talking about this. It's birth workers are talking about this. It's come in and it's being discussed. And yes, I can see where there's likely going to be changes where we'll talk about that in a second. However, when you ask somebody who maybe has had a doula or has investigated looking for a doula because they heard a doula is a really good idea and things like that, do they know what the word means? Do they know the origins of the word itself? Or do they see the word as being a person who helps and supports during birth and pregnancy and postpartum? Because I think when you see that the word has been evolved in such a way over a millennium, that's where we are. And as I say, this has happened since the late 60s when the word sort of started to be used, that it's been claimed as being this. So they've taken a word that had a negative connotation to it that in North America did not have, wasn't being used. And they took that word and they created something new with it. So I think, yes, doulas, those in the birthing world, we can change that. My concern is that we can change that and we can make it a different word and we can call ourselves something different. But we've spent so long creating and identifying as this. Is a rebranding really the right thing to do at this time? Now that we've really got some traction moving forward, right?
Yeah. It's a good question, and I'm glad we are having and people are having these conversations. And this is language itself is evolving. Language itself is evolving. And I mean, when you said like back in the 60s when Penny Simkin, etc., took this word that wasn't being used by English speakers in North
Yes.
America because there were Greek speakers
Oh
in
yeah,
North America.
absolutely.
They're using the word. It's a part of their language. And we took that. So that made me think of, was that cultural appropriation?
Oh, right.
Is that
Yeah, of
okay?
course.
Is that okay to take a word from another person's language and make it something else that it's not meant to be? Whether that's a good intention or a bad intention, I don't know. Again, I don't have answers, but those are the
Yeah, I don't
things.
know. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that just occurred to me. Was it okay for them to do that? Now I'm not so sure. And
Yeah.
then you think about other words, the N word, for instance, that actually started out not having anything to do with Black people. The actual literal definition of that word means sort of like a lazy, worthless, ignorant person. That could describe anybody. Then it evolved into something negative towards a specific group of people. And now there's this attempt to reclaim it, mostly by, young Black guys like my kids. And they are trying to reclaim that word, sort of in the way, bitch is another one. Bitch used to just be a female dog.
Yep.
Ziggy is a little bitch. She's the cutest little bitch I've ever seen. And then it evolved into something negative. And now women there's this reclaiming of the word bitch, blah, 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 as if it's like a friendly kind of camaraderie kind of way to use the word. So there are many, many words in language that we are trying to reclaim, rebrand, repurpose. And should we do that with the word doula, or should we just leave things the way they are? I don't have the answer, but I'm happy that we're having this conversation, and I'm willing to look into and explore it more. So that's why I'm going to read S.K. Adams's article in Medium to see if there's anything that really strikes me. Because if it strikes me, I will drop it.
Yes.
will.
As I say, I mean, I'm so entrenched with it, and I personally identify with it. Like that is what I am, and that is what I do. And the meaning of the way it's used now, obviously not the way it was used a millennia ago, but I just don't know.
What else would there be to replace that sense of identity that you have?
Well, there you go.
With the word birth worker feels too broad. I like the specificity of doula.
I feel, okay, so this is birth worker feels very broad. I don't know how to describe this. It feels hard. It feels not clinical, but it feels like a hard word, whereas doula feels like a soft, you're a great person, squishy, yummy, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to, make things better for you, I'm going to be that soft bosom, that you put your head on, that you can, get through this labor with. Birth worker feels, I don't know, it feels hard. I don't know. And maybe that's what I'm old school. I mean, maybe that's, the next generation that's going forward, that's going to be what, this profession becomes. But I don't know, like what else do you call yourself? Maternal support worker. I think that's what Bebo Mia uses. Perinatal support worker. That's what Douglas College calls theirs. I don't know.
I think, sorry, Steph, you're kind of silent. I don't want to eat up all your space. Are you there? Are you
here? I'm here, but it's just, I don't know. I'm happily going to continue to use doula, and I use doula and birth worker, family birth worker.
Who's that?
If anyone were to let me know that they weren't comfortable with me using the term doula, then I wouldn't use it around them. Absolutely. Like if someone wanted to hire me because they like me, because they like what I do, because they've got a referral to me, but they're uncomfortable with me using the term doula, then I'd say, okay, I get that. If it has some sort of negative thing with you, I'm Steph, your support person. Like as a client, if a client were to work with me and they recognize in themselves that they don't like that term, or how, whatever it reacts, or their belief system is. So again, culturally, maybe it would be different. So maybe from wherever how they were raised, what their belief system is around the word, how it was used with them, if at all. Because a lot of people don't know the word at all. But if someone were raised with the word and with any sort of terminology, and they choose not to use it because, so if a Greek person were to come to me and know what I do, know what the current terminology is, and let me know, you know what, I just don't like the word, so I'm just going to call you Steph, my birth support. I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. That's cool. But I think I told you guys also recently that there was somebody, when we talk about how different cultures view what we do, there was a person who contacted me about services and wanted a referral to somebody. And I said, okay, I'll see who I can find. And they wanted to know if they had to let their doula go home or let their doula out of the house.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Yes, you have to let your doula out of the house to go home.
Oh, right.
And
During quarantine, during like heavy
No.
lockdown.
No,
Yeah.
you can't imprison them. They
Yeah. But
That's
they truly
forcible
believe,
confinement, and it's against the law.
yes, but they
Oh,
truly
kidnapping.
paying for that time that they could tell them what to do with it and where to go. So even if, because they were looking for live-in, but they literally wanted the in part.
The nanny. They wanted a nanny.
They wanted a nanny who they could keep there.
Yeah, because they were worried about COVID and they didn't want the nanny to leave the house. So they're wondering if if they could get a nanny who would never leave the house.
Yeah.
God.
What the hell?
But and the inference was that would be up to them, because that they would be able to decide that, as opposed to working with the person and understanding.
Who's a
Yes.
human person with their own agency and autonomy.
Yes. So there's different cultural beliefs about what employing someone looks like, and what the parameters are for their freedom.
100%. That's a good point. And that just made me, I was going to ask, I wonder, I mean, we're acting like there are no Greek doulas. I wonder if there are doulas who have a background in the Greek culture, and if what they think about the word doula to describe themselves and their profession. And then that reminded me that I was going to, when we talked about experiences where clients treated us like servants, and I have only one memory of that. I mean, I've been asked to do some things as a doula, but most of the time it's very respectfully. Like one time when some clients asked me if I would sleep with them, like actually like lie down in the bed with them, with the baby.
I remember that. No,
And I was just like, what? I didn't even compute what they're asking because it was so crazy. It's so bizarre. But there was one, and I probably told you guys about this too, this one situation, an overnight postpartum situation with twins, that I actually walked out on one night because this person was so demanding, so picky, and sort of borderline threatening me because I didn't do this. I literally didn't put enough cherry tomatoes in her husband's lunch thing or whatever, stupid things like that. And they were Greek. I just realized that they were Greek. Yes. And I mean, this is absolutely nothing against, I love Greek people. My best friends are Greek, but I mean, I, like you said, different cultural ideas about who these people are that are coming into your home to serve you, and how far do you push that whole notion of being served by somebody, and what do they deserve. The vast 99.9% of my clients respect me and respect what I do and treat me accordingly. She's the one that sticks out. She sticks out because it really did feel like she had a list of demands and they needed to be met. And if they were not met exactly, or if I veered this way, there was no innovation on my part allowed. None. So she needed me to follow her instructions to the T. And if I didn't, then she called me out on it and really, gave me shit for, and I walked out at 4 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a shift. I just
I
said,
would too.
I'm
Oh,
out of here.
crap.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she freaked out and didn't feel like I had the right to walk out and threatened that I would never work in this industry again. And I'm like, what is this, Hollywood? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I said, goodbye. See ya. You can't just leave me. You're breaching your contract. I'm like, bye. Take me to court then. Goodbye.
I'm sorry, did she come at you about tomatoes at 4 a.m.?
No, she came at me about the tomatoes when I first arrived, because she was complaining about the night before. So this was a long contract where I was going every night, 5 nights a week, and probably around, I think, for like an 8 or 12-week contract. And it was one thing after the other. And that it was a ratio of green pepper strips and tomatoes. Like her husband was trying to lose weight, so she was giving him vegetables. And she had asked me if one of the things that I could do was to make her husband's lunch at night so he could go in the morning, and that would help her to relax because she was so concerned about his nutrition. So I said, no problem. And she asked me to cut up green peppers and cherry tomatoes, put in a little baggie for him. And I apparently had put, I can't remember, not enough or too many cherry tomatoes in the bag compared to the ratio of peppers and tomatoes. It was off. So she bawled me out about that one night when I got there, and I said, no problem. I'll put more tomatoes or less or whatever. And at least twice she came to complain about the vegetable ratio and other things, the baby's bottles. This was somebody who had 24-hour care. She had a daytime doula and she had an overnight doula. She had all of this help. And she wanted me to sit in the nursery, in the dark nursery where the babies were sleeping, and just sit there. Yeah. It was a crazy situation. She was super controlling and whatever. And she just happened to be Greek. But I'm wondering if in her mind, she had an idea about what being a servant means. You do what I tell you to do, exactly to the letter, and you don't innovate and you don't stray out of the boundaries. And that is that. And I'm not interested in that. I don't work that way. I don't have a problem with service. I think we all serve each
Treat
other.
me like I'm nothing.
We all serve each other. Your
Yes.
fancy OB serves you, right?
Yeah.
Just because they make more money doing that, we have an exchange here. I'm going to provide you with a service and you're going to compensate me with money. It doesn't mean that you're above me or below me. And that is always the attitude I have when I enter into any working relationship. No. And if I had somebody come into my house to clean my house, to serve my family in that way, I hope, I pray, because that is my belief system, that I would treat them with respect and dignity because they're providing me with a service.
Yeah.
And I'm compensating them with money.
It is treating them like a regular human being. Like you're not, like you would give respect to any human. Why would that be any different if they're cleaning your house or they're looking after your baby or
yes.
Don't you want to treat them a little bit better if they're looking after your baby? What the fuck?
And the majority of clients that I've encountered are extremely grateful and wonderful, lovely people.
Absolutely.
Who value the support that I've provided for them, and almost always leave those families with a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's those people, on the fringes who really do think that you're a servant.
Wow.
So it's not also just like a cultural thing too, but there's a socioeconomic aspect to it too, because I don't know if either one of you have noticed this, but the wealthier, no, maybe not wealthy, but the more accustomed to having servants or helpers, whatever you want to call them, in your home that people are, the more casual they are with their private business. For instance, if I go into a family and the birthing person is used all their life, they've had people clean their houses, people do their garden, people, cooking their food for them, doing their laundry for them, like people doing stuff for those kind of intimate things like that. They're the ones who will completely be naked with everything out. They'll leave their pads everywhere, whatever. And because they're so accustomed to having strangers, outside people inside their private life, that it's fine with them, and they're much more casual with you. They might be, sometimes they're friendlier and sometimes it's the opposite. It depends on what kind of culture of helpers they grew up with. But that's what I find too. People who are used to you, like you're the first person that's ever come into their bedroom
Yeah.
to sit on their bed with them to help, and they're kind of shy about you seeing their breasts, and you kind of have to let them know it's okay, I'm just here to help you with breastfeeding and it's all fine. Whereas other people are just like, wow, are my stitches okay? You want to look? But that's more likely to be people who are used to having outside people involved in their day-to-day private business.
Unless you're Steph.
Steph. Then everybody's just like, you want to look? Steph,
No
look
problem.
down there.
Her business.
Have you seen my Cave of Wonders?
Can you tell me if it's still wonderful? Because I'm not so sure. Oh boy. Well,
I have, so this is completely unrelated to birth work, but absolutely related to the word doula. I don't know if I told you guys this. Many years ago, when after my husband had left, I started online dating, and I had my first sort of foray into online dating and the apps and stuff. And I can't remember which one it was, either Tinder, Plenty of Fish, or whatever, like the sketchy ones.
mhm.
And I had used the handle like Doula Kim because that's how I've always identified myself. Well, some creeper, I guess, went and looked up what the word was because I identified myself as a doula, looked up what the word was, and the first message I got back was, "Oh, are you going to be my slave?" Delete.
Oh my God.
I'm no longer on online dating. Fuck this bullshit. I am done with that. So block, delete. I am just going to be
Outta
single
here.
for the rest of my life. Thank you. It didn't help that he looked a little bit like the Tiger King, but wow. That would be a big no, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah. This is a lot of food for thought.
Well, I have a question too. For those who feel strongly about not using the word doula for themselves, do they also feel strongly that others should not use it? Or are most people just comfortable with choosing to use the phrase or not use the phrase?
Well, that's a good question.
Because this came up also, you guys, a little while ago in a group in the term wet nurse. And I admit that I had used the term because my neighbor would nurse my baby. Like if I went to a concert or something like that, I told Roger just to, call Lisa, she'd come over and nurse Megan. And in passing, because it had been normal in like family conversations and stuff about it, the term wet nurse had been used with just friendship. It's like something you did for your buddy, or for your sister or whatever, if they were going back to work. And I was called out on it, and for it being a term because it was used directly with slavery. And I was appalled to find out I'd been using this for years with almost a sense of affection, when other people, it was directly related to things that caused death of Black babies during slavery. Like you were expected to nurse your owner's babies and often leaving your babies to be unfed. And it blew my mind. So obviously I stopped using that terminology. It was very triggering for some people, very denigrating. So, and they specifically asked to find another term, like, co-nursing or shared nursing and things like that. I was like, oh, thank you for that suggestion. That makes a whole lot of sense. And it's an easy switch. It's like using someone's pronouns, easy switch.
Yes.
It just makes sense. So the question is, should we, is there anybody asking that we should move in that direction? Is that the level of trigger that this has for people?
So I want to say something about the wet nurse issue for a second, because I don't know if it was the same conversation or a different conversation on a couple of things. One, yes, that particular practice where enslaved Black women were forced to nurse their master's children at the detriment of their own children was absolutely a practice. That's true. That's historical fact. But the term wet nurse is also a historical term, and is more appropriately describes the profession of wet nursing, because that was a real actual profession where women, lower class, poorer women, would nurse the babies of the rich, the nobility, the aristocracy, or whatever. And yes, sometimes to the detriment of their own babies, and sometimes it was actually just a lucrative profession. So when I hear these arguments come up that the term wet nurse is offensive because it relates to slavery, I'm not 100% in agreement with that, because those slave women were not called wet nurses.
No.
They were called slaves. And it was just a part of, either they were picking cotton, or they were cooking in the kitchen, or they were nursing the babies, or whatever. They had to do whatever they were told to do. And that was one of the things they were told to do. And when I hear the term wet nurse, I actually think of the profession where women were paid to breastfeed the babies of the nobility, the upper classes. And so I'm not offended by that, and I'm not triggered by that. The idea of somebody, and then the whole notion of friendly, you nurse my baby, I nurse your baby when I go to an appointment, or blah, 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 blah. To me, that's not wet nursing, because it's not a business it's not like it's a profession to me. And that's just, like shared nursing, co-nursing, whatever you want to call it. But I have specific ideas about what that all, nursing somebody else's baby. Are you forced to do it? Are you being paid to do it? Or is it just something that you and your friend or your sister do, like, to help each other out, or just as a part of your culture? So that's how I look at that.
So being a doula, at one point, you were forced to do it because you were an indentured slave to that family. And it was called doula. Or with the lovely rolling of the tongue there that you used. Doula. Yeah, and then it evolved to where it was someone's profession, someone's choice, and now it's something you can choose and be trained in and make money from.
Good about, and
So
it's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know, that's what's tickling my brain. I would hate to use it in a way that really does upset somebody, but you also can't go through your life not upsetting people. I mean, when you know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's where, in my mind, is, for me, I identify as a doula. But if another, trained the same way that I was, human, comes into my presence and doesn't want to be identified as a doula, they want to be identified as, a birth worker or maternal support person or things like that, then yeah, I'm there. Like, if that's how you want to identify, perfect. This is how I identify. You call yourself what you want to call yourself. We are doing the same job. That doesn't negate that. This is just how I personally identify, like she, her, cis, white, het, like that's who I am.
Have your own identity. Yes.
This is my identity. And part of that is being a doula. But if somebody else is identifying in a different way with a different term to call their work,
it's cool too.
That's cool too. Isn't that where we're going? I just would hate, as we move forward in this, that the term doula has suddenly this negative connotation, and now I'm almost forced to change who I am. And
the thing is, I think that the point is, though, that it does have negative connotations for many people and some people. And I think that the question is, should there be a cultural shift in the birth world around how we identify the word that we specifically use to identify this profession? Should there be a cultural movement towards that, or should it be just a personal choice? Yeah.
Well, that's the big question. I'd love to hear from people on this. Should it be a personal choice? I mean, really, everything at the end of the day is personal choice. Mm-hmm. And for every company, they might choose to use one phrase or the other. That's the choice of the people who run the company. I would really love to hear other people's thoughts on this. Not because I want to give up my own thoughts, but I'm always open. And I kind of love when people challenge the way I've
Yes.
You know, it doesn't, there was a time where I was really kind of stuck in this is how I do it, so too bad. Or as my beloved Roger over here in the kitchen used to hear all the time, well, we're going to have to agree to disagree. And he'd throw his hands up in the air and say, that doesn't fucking work in marriage. Like, well, yeah, it does.
Well, honey, it's gonna, whether you want it to or not. So you might as well just agree with it.
And I'd be like, it's not working for you, but it's working for me.
Yeah.
Which explains probably why we had some challenges in our marriage. But anyhow,
Roger's like, don't say that.
Too late. I'm not editing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But when we interview him in regards to being a partner of a doula, I'm sure a lot of stuff will come out that involve the word hate problems. But yeah, I know this word doula, I would hate for it to create dissent within our community. I feel like
we have enough dissent in our community without adding something else to it.
And I don't understand any of that because we are not a regulated profession and there is no one set of standard guidelines that we can argue about the way that midwives have, other professions have. And so I think that what we need to be engaging in our conversations, not you should do this and you should do that and whatever. I think that if you want to identify as a doula, then you should do so. If you don't want to identify as a doula, then you should do so. In the event that it comes up where if we're forced, like regulation or whatever, and we're forced, we can have those conversations and some of them will be heated, some of them will be argumentative, and there will be dissent and so on. But if we're forced to choose one word to define us, then we could cross that bridge when we come to it. But right now, there's no reason to argue. That's why I want to read this Medium article. I loved and appreciated King Ya's post about it because I can absolutely understand where they're coming from. And I want to hear more, like you said, Stephanie, I'm not married to the word doula. I don't feel super attached to it. So if there was a cultural shift, it would have made me sad because it's not going to change the essence of what I do. It's not going to change the essence of who we are. We're just going to be maybe called something else, whatever. It doesn't bother me. So that's why I'm way open to hearing from other people what their thoughts are and how they feel about it and all of that. So send us your thoughts.
I am attached to the word doula. I'm not attached to anything that causes harm to anybody though. So as it exists now, yes. But if I were to find that it was causing harm in such a way that it was causing harm, it would be very easy to let it go. Even though I very much identify as a doula, tell people I'm a doula, people now know that I'm a doula. I spent fucking years explaining what a doula is.
Yes.
People using their puns at me, medulla oblongata, no, or doula, are you the doula for more moolah? And like, people just love to use the word doula in some sort of pun or run-on commentary. So establishing that has really been part of what I've done. So in that way, it would be like, motherfucker, but I always want to be open and not stuck,
Yeah. Yep, I hear you.
Not beat myself up about having used it thus far. I think I could let that go too.
Yep.
But interesting to, even just us having like a friggin' quick, I don't know, Facebook Live on this, or I don't know, something chatting people up about this. I'd love to see this be a conversation bigger than ourselves.
Well, I mean, I'm willing to move along with the tide, whatever the tide is, because I'm not emotionally attached to the word doula. However, I'm not really interested in sparking up any
drama.
Yeah, I'm not interested in saying, hey, everybody, let's talk about this. I'm not. If it happens on its own without me, and that seems to be the way things are going, I'll go along, but I'm really not interested in pioneering any discussions about this.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much going on already.
I have
Exactly.
pioneered enough in my life. I'm fucking
What the
done with
hell?
pioneering. It's the next generation's turn.
Yeah. If somebody else wants to take up that basket and walk down the road with it, stopping at every village to take, feel the pulse and explain everything, and then eventually there's a big consensus that this is what we're going to do, cool, that I'll go along with it. But I'm not going to be starting up no conversation about anything. There's enough. Don't you guys have this big day-long AGM thing planned tomorrow?
Yeah, you coming? You better be
Focus on
there.
that.
You have
Yeah,
to.
yeah. I've been to the AGM the last like 2-3 years, so yeah, I'll come. And now it's online. Now I don't gotta go anywhere.
No, you don't even have to put on pants.
There you go.
Just grab your bag of dicks, your cup of tea.
Oh, I have no more. The bag is empty.
I ate the last dick the other day.
Ate the last stick the other day.
Weirdly, only the chocolate ones were left,
Ah,
which I
Not
thought
me.
was unusual.
I was being very diplomatic, and I just reached my hand in there, and whichever one came out. I did it. So it was chocolate. It was not chocolate. Fine, I don't care.
And where did they come from? Did we give a plug to where these came from? We should do that.
Yeah, because maybe I want to order some more. Where did you get them from, Steph?
Steph? Hello?
You're muted, Steph.
Sorry, guys. We have Roger standing here with expressing his opinion about the word doula, but I have asked him to write it out. So I'm going to insist that he go to the Pragmatic Doulas Facebook page and write out his opinion on this, just because.
Okay.
Just
I'd
because.
love to hear Roger's opinion on the word
I'd
doula.
love to hear it.
Okay, well, he's standing right here now because his opinion's been welcomed. So here you go.
Thank you for accepting my opinion on this matter.
Well, we didn't say we'd accept it.
Well,
we might have
okay.
Yeah, we said we'd hear it. Calm down.
Yeah, just back up a minute.
Yeah. No, but doula has tradition in history, just like engineer does or politician does. There's qualifications related to the role, and you can't just go around calling yourself a birth coach if the context of birth coach or some other label doesn't inspire the spirit and the depth of what a doula is. Like, it just, you end up really diluting the role that you play if you all of a sudden want to change history and steer away from doula. Anyway, that was my point. I'll leave it with you. You guys debate.
So I just want to also, the reason we started talking about this is because the very foundation of doula means slave.
The literal definition.
The literal definition means indentured slave, somebody who is of a lower class. So we were talking about that playing into its current role. Has it evolved? Can we simply recognize what it used to be called? Is it causing harm to continue to use a phrase that literally means slave? But what you said is it's nuanced, it's grown, it's changed, it's now more of a wise person.
And that's what I'm saying is you can't, I don't think you can throw away all the positive based on the origin of the name. Like I don't know. I that's my opinion. Again, I'll leave it with you. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alouche. We love to hear from you. Loving Roger standing around listening to our chit chat and feels the need to jump in. That's good. That's good. Joyful. Makes
So
me
he
happy.
has a very positive association with the word doula, much like he has a very positive association with the word midwife, and often brags about what we all do. So his connotation is only positive and sees it as an umbrella term for all the wisdom, which comes back to, like what you were saying, Kim, birth coach seems very singular, and doula means kind of overreaching wisdom in regards to all things in childbirthing years. Oh,
Yeah.
he's back.
I think for me, the term is more, it feels ancient. It feels wise. It feels old. It feels like I feel.
But those feelings often come up when we steal from other cultures.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. When we steal words from other cultures that have, because we can't find anything in the English language that that's going to give those same feelings. So that's
So maybe we just need a contest. Maybe we just have,
what else would you name us?
There are a bunch of letters and let's come up with a brand new word.
Why can't we come up with a brand new word? Why the hell not? Every year, the Oxford Dictionary accepts new words that have become a staple in our culture. So why can't we let's do that. Throw it out to our community. What else can we call ourselves besides doula that's not stolen from another language, but gives us that same warm, nurturing, wise feeling that the word doula does? And then we'll apologize to the entire Greek culture for stealing their word. Is there...
Suzanne, it's gotta sound just as good as the label that I've received many, many times of being a mandula. Okay, so
yes,
Doula. You're a doula.
It has to have all of those connotations, all of those qualities. It needs to inspire a feeling of support, safety, warmth, nurturance, and wisdom.
got it.
So what's that word? What's that word, people? What
Maybe
is
it's an acronym.
It's curtain.
Oh, that's clinical. You don't want clinical. You don't want something clinical.
You know what? Clinical. Roger's got things to say. Can we go back to the bag of dicks, please?
Oh yes. Where did you get your bag of dicks?
I am
writing it down.
Poised to. Do you know?
Listeners want to know.
She's actually right down the street from you, Suzanne.
I'm going right now. Where? My shoes off.
Getting in the car.
Baker, who is just maybe 5 minutes drive down the street from you.
Okay.
Yep. Her name is Michelle, and I will have to get her information. I'll actually post it to our page and we can post it to our Instagram and stuff too. For anyone who would like to order a bag of dicks, I think you need to order a minimum of 5 bags of dicks.
Fair enough.
So yes.
She throws in vulva cookies.
She does.
There were 2 in mine. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so when I find her business card, which is around here somewhere, I will post it to our page so everyone can have a bag of dicks.
Do you still have the bag, Suzanne? Because it's on the back of the bag.
I don't have the bag anymore.
Yeah, I threw mine out too.
Yeah.
I will find the business card and I will post it.
Thank you.
And you can order your 5 bags of dicks and give them out for Christmas.
Ooh, stocking stuffers.
There you go.
Oh, I was gonna say that I'm gonna give them out at book club, but we're having a Zoom book club. Damn it.
How is it?
So is everybody reading our book, The Birth Yard?
I haven't started yet.
I haven't started yet, but I'm gonna start on Saturday. I'm in the middle of a really big, juicy one. I think I told you guys about. I'm reading a book called From Evening. What? Oh, The Evening and the Morning. The Evening and the Morning by Ken Follett, which is a prequel to The Pillars of the Earth, which is one of my favorite books. But The Birth Yard is right here. And I gotta start because I've got The Birth Yard and my other book from my other book club. I've got to read 2 books by book club days. So I gotta put that one away, put it aside, and come back to it. Dilemma.
I'm not enjoying it.
Oh, you're not. No. Interesting. I like that fact that you're not enjoying it. I like a critical look at a book.
It's making me itchy, and I have not picked it up in a few days. And I always read before I go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And I have been just turning out the light and rolling over and leaving my glasses on.
Looking at it and be like, going to sleep.
I feel bad because I know Carissa, who I love with all my heart. Well, she recommended it. She read it and she enjoyed it.
That's
so
okay. That's how it goes in book clubs. That's how it goes in book clubs. Yeah, we've had some real stinkers, absolute stinkers. And
I don't know. I may be the only one that doesn't enjoy it, but it's making me itchy.
I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about it.
All right, so it's The Birth Yard by Mallory Tater. If you're following along, please let us know, and please make sure that you are, if you want to be part of. So we had 2 people last time for book club. We can always have more. So if you want to be part of our book club, sign up. Just send us an email at thepragmaticdoulas@gmail.com, and we will happily add you to the list. And I do hope that Carissa, if you're listening, will be part of that discussion as well.
She has to. She's a regular now.
Yeah, she's part of it. That's it.
And she recommended the book, so I'm going to suggest to her that she, instead of me, sort of coming up with the questions and facilitating this discussion, that she do it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. And
Right.
then of course our other guest who is here, like
Christine.
And Christine is also invited back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I hope everybody enjoyed this discussion. We are desperate to hear from you. Please let us know.
Yes.
But hit us up on, Instagram.
We know you have an opinion.
You're a doula or
Yeah.
not. You have an opinion.
On all kinds of shit. So
What are you calling yourselves?
Yeah.
Or have you moved away from doula? Are you calling yourself something different? Let us know. Email us. We'd love to hear. Hit us up on Instagram. The Pragmatic Doulas on Instagram. Yeah, we want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
That's right. And we will see you back again next week. Happy Thursday morning.
Happy.
Well, it's Thursday morning for us. It will not be, it's not Thursday morning for you, I suppose.
Monday for them.
Unless you listen on Thursday morning, in which
Unless
case,
you listen on
yeah.
Thursday.
We
And
won't.
you know what? I've really our numbers have been coming up on the podcast, which is really amazing. So let's keep that momentum going. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers, all of that.
And I always say, stand on the street corner and just tell anybody who walks by. Like, don't feel. I love how you know you're going to sneeze, Kim, and then you just mute yourself and sneeze.
Yes.
That's very good.
That's why my face is all red. I'll have to. I haven't posted any. I didn't post Bag of Ticks to YouTube yet because I was too busy working on that project that I launched.
Oh, that's right. Absolutely, talk about it right now.
Okay. So I launched. So I basically took our prenatal class that I teach on a regular basis with the hospital, and I created 9 separate sessions of it for sale to families that are looking for prenatal classes. And the difference between that and say another one that might be online from a hospital or public health or something is you can email us and ask us questions. We're quite happy. And if you enjoy 1 or 2 of them and you want to be part of the live online class, you absolutely can do that too. And it was horrifying for me to do this because I am still utterly terrified that it won't be well received, but I had to do something. 2020 is the year of pivot, correct? So I had to try something, and I'm still trying things, and it's out there now in the world. And the first one is free. So you can hit it up on the TorontoDoulaGroup.com /video-classes, or I've posted it to YouTube as well. So
And what you need to also remind the majority of our listeners are doulas is that you can pass this information on to your clients if they are interested or in need of prenatal classes. Please shuttle them to Kim's video classes. You can do that. That's how you can help out, because I know you guys know everything already. So you don't do prenatal classes, but your clients might. Your clients probably do. It's actually a really good idea for everybody to take prenatal classes. That's my personal feeling.
100%.
Here you go. Here's a great option for you. So do that.
Absolutely.
Help out your local pragmatic doulas and send your clients to the Toronto Doula Group /videos.
Please help.
Please
help me feed my babies.
Yes.
Help me put food on the table from HelloFresh.
Yes.
Because
right.
God knows they don't want me to go back to cooking on my own.
You know, that reminds me of because today's Thursday and it's My Favorite Murder Day.
Ah, yes.
Well, I think it was last year, a couple of years ago, Karen in Georgia did this hilarious ad for HelloFresh where she always talked about being a single mom with 11 children to feed. So she said, help me feed my babies. I was like, yeah. HelloFresh HelloFresh helps her feed her 11 children. Healthy, nutritious meals every day.
It's true. I've never eaten so many vegetables and fresh herbs in my whole life.
Yeah.
The amount of garlic I'm consuming, actually, I'm pretty sure is what's
your blood pressure must be like really good.
It doesn't actually kill COVID, but it keeps people 6 feet away from you by eating so much garlic. You're literally sweating it now, and everyone's like, damn, that girl smells.
That works. It works. Hello.
It does. It does. All right. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the plug. And I hope everybody has an amazing week. And let us know what your thoughts and feelings and all of that stuff are with this crazy word doula.
Yeah. Email us. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. What else? That's it.
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook.
We have Twitter, but nobody actually follows it.
And we
Yeah.
have an email address too. If someone wanted to get really long-winded and send us an email for us to read, right?
Pragmaticdoulas@gmail.com.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Rate, review, and subscribe. You know the deal. And we shall see you all next week.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Wear a mask.